Hello. In this video, I'd like to talk about the documentation that's provided in the simulator project. There are 4 items included here that I'd like to talk about. So let's start over here with the Python 3 cheat sheet, which is a PDF file. So in here are 2 8.5 by 11 sheets that I downloaded off the web. And what these do is they provide a very concise description of the most common Python 3 commands. Obviously not intended to be a learning document, but it does come in very handy if you have a question about either vocabulary or syntax of most of the popular Python 3 commands. All right, next up is a cheat sheet that's written particularly for the simulator. And this is divided up into several different sections explaining the functions that are available in the simulator. So starting at the top, we have 2 functions that must be provided in your exercises. So your exercises must have a once function, and in there you put code that you want to run once when the program starts. And you also must have a loop function that is code that runs repeatedly every second forever while the simulator is running. If you don't want to provide code in either of these functions, they still must exist, but there needs to be only one word, pass, P-A-S-S, written as part of the function. If you want to handle push button click events, you also can provide a function called PB_clicked. And as part of that definition, you need the word self, and you can use the word number, and number, which will be a variable in your function, will be set when the function is called to the number of the button clicked, and what you will see is an integer between 1 and 4. So that's at the top level functions in your exercises. Underneath is a list of functions that can be used in any of those top level functions. So these are sub-functions, if you will, and will be put either in the once loop or pb_click functions. And I won't read through those now, but you can see through here that there are many different functions that are available to do different things. And what you should do is, when you're looking to do something, go through this cheat sheet and find out what you want to do by the description, and then read how to do it, and also note in the parentheses what things are required or not, or what values are returned or not. The next document is called Python 3 and GUI containers. So much of what we do in this class is relevant to the concept of containers. There are 3 different kinds that this document focuses on. The first being software containers. So these are things in your code, and you always know you're dealing with a software container if the first line in it ends in a colon. And Python uses indentation under that first line to show the contents of a container. It's perfectly possible to have containers inside of containers, and at each level there's the appropriate indentation. So the first container we have is the class container that's used in your exercises, and the details of what that class is beyond the scope of our first class, but you will discuss that in your second programming class. Next up are functions, the keyword being DEF, and inside of functions we can have variables, executable codes, and other functions. One level underneath that are logical tests, and there are 3 different kinds of logical tests. There's a one-way test, an if, which is based on, all of these actually are based on a Boolean value. And in the if container, we can have local variables, executable code, and any other tests or loops. Two-way logical test uses the keyword if and else, each on their own line, and that can hold the same kind of thing. And a multi-way logical test is if, as many EL, EF, or else if sections that you wish, and then an else section at the end. It's important to note that the if and the elif need Boolean conditions that get evaluated. After them, the else does not and will not accept it. It's if none of the other things are true, what are you going to do? That's what's in the else clause. Then there are two kinds of loops. One is a conditional loop. The keyword is while, and similar to your tests, those can hold variables, code, other tests, and loops. And then there's an iterative loop that uses the keywords for and in, and we'll be seeing a lot more of those later. Next up are four different data containers, and they do what they say they do. They hold data. So the first and the easiest to use is a list. Lists are denoted with square brackets, and the attribute of lists that makes them very valuable is they're both mutable and extensible, meaning the elements can be changed and the size of the list can be expanded or shrunk to suit your purposes. Similarly is a tuple denoted with parentheses. Those are immutable lists, so if you have a list that's never going to change, it's more efficient to make it into a tuple, and some of the things in Python are actually dealt with as tuples. Feel free to pronounce it as a tuple or a tuple. Next is a dictionary. Dictionaries, just like language dictionaries, are composed of keys that are unique within the dictionary, a colon, and then a value that does not necessarily have to be unique. Sets are nothing other than a list of keys, and the same criteria is that the keys must be unique. And in both cases, a dictionary and a set, we use the curly brace to denote the dictionary or the set. One of the interesting things in Python is that the lists and the tuples do not have to have the same type of element in them. They can be a mix of elements. So a list can be composed of all integers, or it could be composed of an integer, a float, and a string, or multiple integers, floats, and strings. So lists and tuples, you can see them with different types of elements, although that's not the most common. Most commonly, they use the same kind of element. Lastly, we'll talk about the GUI containers, and this is what makes your graphics happen. And these are based on the GUI 0 library. The top level, which is required, is the APP container, and it can be called top, parent, or root. If you have multiple windows, they have to be built using the window container, and that designates them as a lower level or child container. And the first thing you specify there is a reference back to the APP top level or parent. Within either APP or window, you can have box containers, which can either be invisible or have a border around them, and they're just a way of organizing your widgets within the apps and the windows. Next document we have here is an exercise sheet. And the exercise sheet is a set of exercises that get increasingly complicated, so that you can start easy and build up to things that are more complex. And I hope that you not only try these and get them to work, but also come up with your own exercises. While the exercises are not a graded part of our course, they will be very helpful in learning the techniques that you will need for the exercises in the class itself that will be graded. So these are basically a self-paced assignment list. This will probably grow as time goes on, and if anybody has their own exercises, just let me know and we could add them to the list. The last element we'll look at in this video is simulator.py, and this is not documentation, but it is all of the code that makes the simulator work. You can see that it itself has a class statement, so everything is within that. And as you learn more about Python, or if you're curious and you want to use this as a vehicle for learning more about Python, it will be helpful, would be helpful to read through here and see through all of this how the simulator is set up, what variables are used, how methods are declared to be required, and then all the optional methods, functions rather, not methods. All the optional functions are provided down at the bottom part of the code, and you can read about them. And if you'd like to make a copy of this project or this file, you can change these things as you see fit. So that's some of our documentation, and it's there to help you. Please use it as you need to, and also let me know if you find things in here that either need to be added or need to be changed. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.